Section 1. Simplified gem system, streamlined complexity or lost freedom. First up, the gem system has undergone a huge transformation. Gone are the days of linking gems to gear. In Path of Exile 2, gems are now directly embedded into your skills. Each support gem is tied to a skill and you can only use it once per build. That's right, no more endless combinations of gems attached to every piece of gear. Now, in the next section we'll dive deeper into the constraints and requirements for skill gems, so stick around for that, but for now there's more. Support gems no longer level up, making them static but incredibly powerful for customization. Also, instead of specific quest rewards, you'll now find uncut skill and support gems that drop as you defeat monsters. These drop at the level of the area you're in and can be used to upgrade or change the skills you're using. My opinion, compared to PoE 1's more flexible linking system, PoE 2 feels more streamlined, catering to both new players and those seeking efficiency. However, some veterans might feel that this reduces flexibility. Final tip, since each support gem is a one-time use across your entire build, you need to prioritize efficiency. For example, area of effect support gems are more valuable on large clearing skills, while single target damage supports should go on boss killing skills. Now, in order to understand the full picture of skill gems, let's dive into the next section. Section 2. Attribute-driven support gem capacity, strategic build crafting. Attributes now determine how many support gems of each type you can equip. Strength for red supports, dexterity for green, and intelligence for blue. For example, if you have more dexterity, you can equip more dexterity-based support gems. My opinion, this attribute-based system echoes Diablo 2's stat-driven gear requirements, adding another layer of strategic depth. However, PoE 2 takes it further by directly influencing how many supports your build can handle, making attribute balancing an integral part of character optimization. Final tip, if you're aiming for a heavy support gem usage, focus your attribute investments based on your desired support color. For a dexterity heavy ranger, maximizing green supports like Pierce or multiple projectiles could offer superior clearing potential. For a strength-based melee build, stacking red supports like brutality or melee physical damage will be optimal. Now, before we move on to the next section revealing the final part of the skill puzzle, I'm excited to hear what you think is the most exciting mechanic in PoE 2, so please leave a comment below. And to stay tuned for more videos, remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Section 3. Weapon specific skills. Now, in the next section we'll have a look at a whole new important mechanic for skills resource management, but first let's look at weapon specific skills. In PoE 2, skills are linked to specific weapon types. For example, a skill like slams will require maces to use, and some other skills have attribute requirements like needing 10 strength. So, it's not just about choosing a weapon, but also understanding what your weapon can do with the right skill. And speaking of weapons, they now come with innate skills, giving you access to extra abilities without using any mana. For instance, you might find a fireball staff that will give you the fireball skill right out of the gate. This opens up tons of customization options, especially since you can now equip 2 weapon sets, each with its own passive tree that you can switch between on the fly. My opinion, weapon restrictions may feel limiting to players accustomed to PoE 1's flexibility, but this design promotes mastery and synergy between weapons and skills. Actually, it's a lot like Monster Hunter, where your weapon of choice shapes how you fight. PoE 2 takes this idea and runs with it. You're encouraged to commit to a specific weapon type and really learn its strengths and weaknesses to get the most out of it. Final tip, players can build around their chosen weapon type to keep the playstyle consistent and maximize efficiency. For example, a mace-wielding juggernaut focusing on slam attacks can spec into stagger and AoE mechanics for crowd control dominance, while a bow-wielding deadeye can utilize mobility-based projectile skills to kite and control the battlefield. Now, let's proceed to the next section discussing a whole new important mechanic related to skills. Section 4. Spirit. Now, before we in the next section discuss a vital skill-related gameplay mechanic, let's first have a look at the brand new resource introduced in Path of Exile 2, Spirit. This replaces mana for things like auras, minions, totems, and metagems. Unlike mana, which is used purely for skills, Spirit is used for persistent effects, like summoning or activating aura-based buffs. And let's talk about metagems. These gems allow you to trigger skills based on specific conditions like cast on shock. This opens up a whole new layer of build possibilities where both fast and slow skills become viable for your meta combos. My opinion, by separating these resources, PoE 2 introduces a balance between offensive and persistent effects. This separation reduces the frustration of mana-starved summoner builds while opening new possibilities for hybrid resource management. Final tip, consider hybrid builds that maximize both mana and spirit. For instance, a necromancer running multiple auras and summons can manage their spirit pool while reserving mana for direct damage spells. Alternatively, a champion aura stacker can focus on buffing while maintaining mana-based damage options. The spirit mechanic is essential, but the mechanic we'll discuss up next is a game changer. Section 5. Movement and combat flow. Combat in Path of Exile 2 is more dynamic than ever, and in the next section we'll go through the most exciting mechanic of them all. But first, let's talk about the fact that PoE 2 doesn't have dedicated movement skills. Instead, most skills come with built-in mobility. You can also use a dodge roll to cancel skills and avoid incoming attacks. However, AoE effects like boss slams can't be avoided with the dodge roll, so you have to watch out for those. My opinion. This design choice resembles Souls-like games that combine movement with attack animations. While PoE 1 relied heavily on spammable movement skills, PoE 2's integrated approach forces you to think more tactically about positioning, offering a fresh combat dynamic reminiscent of Lost Ark. Final tip: master movement-based attacks to stay mobile while maintaining DPS. For instance, Wave of Frost's backstep can keep you safe in ranged combat, while Falling Thunder Sleep lets melee characters close gaps swiftly. You'll also see this in Rapid Shot, where you can shoot while moving, allowing you to quickly deal with smaller enemies. On the other hand, some skills like Supercharged Slam require you to stay still while you charge them up, adding strategic depth to your gameplay. All of this introduces rotational movement tactics, weaving offense and defense into seamless actions. But the next thing we'll discuss is arguably even more important to master. Section 6. Synergistic skill combos, the power of interaction. One of the coolest features in Path of Exile 2 is how well skills synergize with each other. For example, you can use a skill like armor-piercing burst shot, which shatters frozen enemies and causes AoE damage to nearby foes, or create environmental hazards with void zones and then ignite them with fire for explosive effects. There's also the armor break mechanic. Certain skills will lower enemy armor, making them vulnerable to follow-up attacks. If you're struggling to break through tough enemy defenses, armor break is your key to success. My opinion, skill interactions have always been a core aspect of ARPGs, but PoE 2 is bringing it to the forefront. It challenges the one-button meta by rewarding players who think several steps ahead. This creates a more dynamic battlefield where planning your rotation can yield massive payoffs compared to other games' more linear approach. Final tip: experiment with elemental setups. By using one element to impair enemies and another to follow up with powerful area of effect damage, you can create a versatile and devastating strategy. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you will definitely be interested in the video showing on the screen now, so go ahead and click on that. And to stay tuned for upcoming videos, remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons.